You guys glad to see me again? Glad to see my face? You didn't see it long enough last night or yesterday or hear my voice way too much yesterday, did you? No. It's the WinDailySports.com Better Baseball Podcast. You knew we'd be back, and then I'd probably be a little bit late because I was up all night with NFL draft stuff with Sina Jad and the rest of the crew there at Win Daily Sports, but it was a heckin' good time, and we had a great time. And now we're going to have a better time at the Better Baseball Podcast, and I have to admit, my friend here, Brian.
Yes.
I have no idea what happened last night in baseball. I tried to pay attention. I had the games on. I did have the Braves game on for a little bit, and the Cubs. How did they do that? I mean, I guess Bryce Wilson.
Yeah, but I mean, basically everything we said was the opposite.
And that game, at least, absolutely.
What happened?
At least the Phillies ended up losing, like we said, so that's good.
On a wild pitch, yeah.
On a wild pitch. That was a weird game, sort of, and how it all played out. But kind of I'm assuming kind of a weird day yesterday. It
was a weird day. I mean, look, Trevor Bauer went the full 8 innings and still lost. So
yeah,
it was just one of those days where, like,
from what I was seeing, is like Eric Lauer good? Is he good?
He was fine. He was good enough. It's kind of a mix of the Dodgers offense not really getting that key hit at the key time. Yep. I mean, not to downplay Lauer's stuff. Lauer was definitely what he needed to be. I mean, look, Trevor Bauer was a little bit off, not very off, but a little bit off, gave up a couple runs, and that turned out to be the difference,
Yeah, and
get that last Dodger hit in to get that last tying run, or that last momentum going. They always got like hits with 2 outs in the inning, and that's just too late to start getting hits.
Yeah, so from what I'm remembering from yesterday's slate, I do remember the White Sox ended up crushing Boyd in the first inning. It was only a couple of runs, but 36 pitches, enough for the Detroit Tigers to be like, yeah, man, let's not continue that.
Well, he got taken out because of a knee injury, but yes, that also played into it. Yes.
I didn't see that. I know he got taken out early, and I saw 36 pitches. I'm like, oh, they're probably just like, hey, we'll save you for another day, my man.
And
we'll figure that one out.
On top of that, so Boyd gets taken out. They said left knee tendonitis, but they're going to do more tests.
Yeah.
But on top of that, they had to put Fuller in with like just as many warm-up pitches as he needed. He wasn't, nobody at that point in the game is warming up to be brought in as a reliever. So
no.
Fuller gets put in pretty cold. Not that that's going to be the be-all, end-all of Detroit pitching, but he gets put into a spot that's not ideal. The White Sox are,
but the White Sox
really
hit Boyd hard at the start too.
They did.
I mean,
they did.
There's something about left-handed pitching against the White Sox that just they tend to hit that very well and win those games. And another start with a left-handed pitcher and another win for the Chicago White Sox. So something's going right.
Yeah.
Busiest man in the biz. There we go. We're seeing the Jad who also did like 5 hours with me. Fajita Friday. Absolutely. It's a Fajita Friday. That's why I'm all juiced up. So I'm all jacked up. I'm ready for my Fajita Friday. So yesterday, a little bit odd in some things. I think the one thing that we kind of nailed, Shane McClanahan did kind of look really good at the start. And I think Oakland was really trying to feel him out. But, I mean, trying to feel out stuff that's 100 miles an hour with that gas, that's hard to do. He looked good, though. I mean, what did you think? I thought he looked great.
No, he did look good. I mean, look, that wasn't anything to, laugh about or whatever. Like, he was pinpoint. He was there. He was getting his pitches in. He was getting his work done. He was everything the Rays could have asked for. You can't ask for much more than what.
I mean, it was so apparent that the stuff is just unbelievably good. Like that is apparent from the jump. Just as soon as that first inning, you go, all right, this guy's stuff is legit. Like the slider was great. He's throwing gas. It was really impressive stuff.
Really impressive.
It's something I think to keep note of and how he continues that. Obviously, Casey Mize has been one. He has his stuff and it hasn't worked out. So, obviously Shane McClanahan is going to have some road bumps here or there, but for the most part, pretty good stuff from him. All right, now let's go to today's slate, and we have a nice little slate here. And when I say little, we have a nice night slate here to look at. Is this the first? This feels like the first time in a long time that we don't have an afternoon game. Is this the first time all season that we don't have at least a 2 o'clock game? It feels like it.
Oh, maybe that one odd early afternoon game.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I feel like for the most part, there's been a few. I want to say there's been a couple of days where all the games have been at 6 and later. But I could be wrong. That weird 2 o'clock game in
that's
in
what
wherever,
I live for.
Minnesota or whatever is.
I live for the odd 2 o'clock games where I'm scrolling through MLB TV and go, wait, there's a game on right now? All right, I guess, why not? I'll put it on. Sure. So I guess where do you want to start here? Because I'm actually seeing a lot of nice potential matchups here, especially pitching matchups. How about let's just go to Detroit right away?
Yeah, let's just get that out of the way.
With Garrett Cole on the mound. Jesus.
Yeah.
What is that?
Look. What can you say? It's Garrett Cole against the Tigers. Not only is it the Tigers, it's the slumping Tigers coming off of a doubleheader sweep of being swept in both games of that doubleheader. Considering that the last game started at 9 p.m. Eastern, they got destroyed. They left Chicago late. They arrived to New York late. They are out of sorts and all.
Yep. They have a bad pitcher on the mound. Yep.
They got a bad pitcher on the mound today. To quote AJ Hinch last night in his post-game presser, today sucked. Okay? So yesterday sucked for the Tigers. They're going to move forward. They have to. They can't dwell on what happened in Chicago. They're gonna arrive at Yankee Stadium today. AJ Hinch's first visit back to Yankee Stadium with fans since the Astros thing. So that should be an interesting reaction. I don't know if that's going to matter at all. I don't think the Tigers can put up anything realistic against what Garrett Cole is going to offer them. Cole should cruise. I can't see any real reason why Cole should not be cruising today, unless it's self-inflicted. I think the Yankee bats should be able to take advantage of some weak Detroit pitching. This is all going to be Cole dominance is the whole storyline of this game.
Well, yeah, it likely will be. And I'm just trying to find any stat, any reason that's hey, John, bet Detroit. Bet it. It's a plus 300. Why not? But there's really not.
In Yankee Stadium, I don't think.
Right.
Look,
the one thing I could say is the Yankees just haven't been good this year, and even they've gotten better. Which, yes, they've absolutely gotten better.
They are
at least as of late. Their play's been good,
gaining some offense.
I want to find a way. And I just don't see it. The only way I can maybe bet this game, Detroit has a really high strikeout percentage. Garrett Cole, last time I checked, that dude kind of strikes out people.
Yes.
He's pretty good at that. I don't know. Maybe, let me look at the game log just to make sure that my stats are correct. That guy can strike out some people. Yeah,
he's one of the top strikeout pitchers in the league.
It's not bad.
I think, if I'm not mistaken, I saw a stat. This might be the most. He might have tied the Yankees team record for most strikeouts at the beginning of in his first 5 starts or beginning of a season or whatever. I forget what the stat was, but he's top Yankee pitcher ever for strikeouts early in the season. Whatever the official stat is, I forget the parameters of that stat, but he's one of the best strikeout pitchers that the Yankees have had 5 starts in or whatever it is to a season. So
I do gotta say we got retweeted by my guy Kenny. I'm assuming we have some of the Mooney gang here in the chat. So if we do, just send a rocket. Let me know you're here, Mooney gang. Kill Kenny, one of the best when it comes to NBA. So give him a nice little shout out. KIILKENNY on the Twitter machine. Good dude. So I imagine we have the Mooney gang here. So that's all good. And that rowdy bunch that I love. But yeah, Garrett Cole. Yeah, he, like you just said. I mean, that dude's incredible. So look, are there times that he hasn't hit this number? Sure.
Absolutely.
He didn't hit
not
it
against a team like Detroit.
Exactly. He didn't hit it against Toronto twice. Toronto was the only 2 times he didn't hit this. Other than that, 13 against Baltimore, 10 against Tampa Bay, and 11 against Cleveland. And look, I know one thing that for sure, if we have bet this kind of prop bet on a big pitcher, like Jacob deGrom didn't hit this number. He was at 10.5 and only had 9 strikeouts, something like that. Obviously that gives you some pause, like, oh, these numbers are getting too high. You can't bet it. But I think with deGrom, it was a little bit of circumstance. He was going against the Red Sox, which are pretty good against right-handed pitching, and a pretty good lineup as well. But also the strikeout prop was like 10.5. So you're giving me a prop here in which it's under double digits. And that means that I just need a double-digit strikeout performance from Garrett Cole. And outside of Toronto games, he's hit that every single time.
Absolutely.
And it close to even money, it's just fine. Detroit is has the third most strikeout, or at least third in strikeout percentage against right-handed pitching. So it's a pretty damn good matchup, I'd say, for the strikeouts. And look, if that's the way you're betting this one, I don't trust the Yankees to get a team total over in this one. I don't trust the Yankees even on the run line at minus 175. I don't like any of that. Can Detroit get a run or two maybe off of Garrett Cole? Absolutely.
Yes.
So look, and you're hearing all that. And it's like, John, why don't you just take the plus 300 then? I don't think they're going to win the game.
No, I wouldn't go that far.
I don't think they're going to win the game. But the only thing I could say for sure that I like that I'm getting good money on is Garrett Cole's strikeout prop. And I think it's a really good, you're going against a team that strikes out a lot, and Garrett Cole's been really good at striking out people throughout his career. So I think it's a really good spot for that.
I mean, look, the Tigers are going to put up a pretty decent effort coming off of those 2 games in the doubleheader where they got just dominated by Chicago pitching. And they're probably going to get dominated by Cole pitching. But, I mean, they got, 4 hits in that second game? Like, they didn't get hits. It's not like they had base runners and they didn't convert. They were shut down across the board in both of those doubleheader games. So even though they got a run in that first game, they didn't do anything in that second game. So I don't expect them to be as bad as that second game, but I don't think they're going to do considerably better than the results of that second game.
Yeah, and I am looking at this Phillies one because it's right underneath of it, and immediately my mind went right to Marcus Stroman and the Mets. I don't know though. I feel like that's a good play, but the Phillies back at home, it would definitely have to do a little bit with if they're healthy, for sure. Like if Bryce Harper, which I imagine he's not going to be out too long.
I would think so.
Yeah, so if Bryce Harper's out again and so is Didi Gregorius, then absolutely, I do it because Chase Anderson is just, a ticking time bomb, man. Like it's just it's not, how many runs is he going to give up? It's just like which innings it happens that he gives up like 6-7 runs. The Mets haven't been hitting well. They lost 2-1 to Boston, 1-0, and for the most part, you just look at their last 4 games. They haven't been hitting well at all. The Phillies obviously have been a giant mixed bag. It's all over the place, but they're at home. If they're healthy, I don't know if I'd take this game, but I'd maybe take my shot on that if they're not. I don't know. It's a weird one, obviously, since I'm going back and forth on it. Probably not the right one. This is an interesting pitching matchup because Lester is starting for the Nationals.
Lester's getting his start.
But Pablo Lopez on the mound, and I like Pablo Lopez, and I think he's been pitching really well this season, and pretty much has for most of his career. Like is he an ace level starter? No, but this guy can pitch. Like he's pretty darn good, and I like the stuff that he has. Now he's 0-2 this season, so obviously the Marlins just aren't very good and don't really give him run support. But this is something where I may be looking at under. The only potential thing here that would screw this over is the fact that the Marlins would get after John Lester, but I don't really see this as a game that's going to be really high scoring.
There's potential. I don't think it'll be like super high scoring. The only thing assuming Lester's on point, the only thing he should really be concerned about is like Duvall and like the middle of that Marlins lineup. Oh,
there's potential in this Marlins, but it's just not it's not very.
Potential.
It doesn't stretch throughout their lineup. It's a very.
It's a very
you get through a certain area. Yeah,
right.
Exactly.
It's very spot by spot stuff. And trying to find the Marlins, the matchup here.
But just you look at everything. You look at the injury reports for both teams. These are depleted teams. They don't have their bats in. They haven't necessarily both been good, even though Nationals put up 8 runs yesterday, but still, this pitching matchup one with Pablo Lopez is a little bit different.
I do like Pablo Lopez against the Nationals lineup. Again, like, can he get the run support? That's the thing. Like, I don't, as we said, like, I don't think the Marlins can provide a steady enough offensive attack.
Yeah.
That the Marlins are gonna, be able to put up a ton of runs and give him the pad.
What happened?
That might be needed.
I don't know. What'd you do, Brian? Did
everything just disappeared. Everything just disappeared.
You're right with the lineup. It's hard to tell, and I think that's why I take my shot on that first 5 under.
Yeah, if I had to, I would lean towards Nationals in this game if we were doing the line, but the line's not there, so I don't know. But yeah, I think Lester will be okay.
I think Lester will be fine. Absolutely.
Yeah, he's got an easy enough lineup to pitch against. Right. So I'm not too concerned about Lester's performance on the mound. He should be able to get through his 5 innings or 6 innings and be in a good spot for the Nationals to win the game or have the lead or be close if they're not in the lead. But yeah, can Lopez shut down the Nationals enough to have his offense provide runs? They're in Washington, so that plays a part too. Like, you're not in Marlins Park or Lone Depot Park or whatever they call that stadium. It's just, can the Marlins put up enough offense to support Pablo Lopez? That's what we're betting on.
Yeah, basically. That's exactly what we're betting on here. WinDailySports.com, Better Baseball Podcast. All right, so next game we'll go over here. We'll go down to a team that's been kind of surprising this year, and that we just talked about a little bit. Mm-hmm. And it's a good matchup for them. Now, the money line, it's a little bit up there. Kohei Arihara, I think his last game is the first one he really kind of had some trouble with. Yes. Nathan Eovaldi, though, he's looked good. It's been really surprising. But where are we going here? It is a little bit high of a money line for me to take the Red Sox. But it's something I'm definitely interested in this game a little bit and see what I can find here.
Look, I'm interested in Eovaldi striking out the Rangers because the Rangers strike out a lot.
Yeah.
And he has a good pitch mix.
As you can see, that's obviously you can see where my mind was when I stopped on what bet I was looking for.
Right. Yep. Look, the Rangers strike out a lot. Eovaldi has a good pitch mix that the Rangers do not rank exceedingly high in. That he has enough pitches that he can, that the Rangers are very low in MLB hitting against. Like, they're 28th against the splitter. They're 26th against the curveball. Look, Eovaldi should be able to keep the Rangers in check. When he gives up hits, it's usually ground balls. He has usually less than hard contact. So I like the pitching for Boston to keep the Rangers in check. I don't think they're going to get a lot of home runs. I don't think they're going to have a lot of hard contact. I think Eovaldi has a good pitch mix that he can strike out the Rangers. The Rangers like to swing and miss at a lot of stuff. The only thing that you could be questioning is, can the Rangers get that spot hit? Can they, get some runs across the board? It's possible. It's definitely possible. You're playing. Are they in Texas? They're in Texas.
Yeah, they're
right?
in Texas. Yep.
Yeah, they're in Texas.
You're right.
I thought they were in Texas. So they're playing at home. They got unlike other stadiums, they have a full attendance, in that stadium that can give them some support. Arihara is not a bad pitcher. He might have had a bad outing, but overall, he's been really good. So I think, he can do some damage against the Red Sox lineup as well. I just think that the matchup of Eovaldi and the Rangers lineup is just that much better. That Eovaldi should be able to work his stuff and have a nice outing. His stat line should be really good. And the Rangers should be, maybe a few hits scattered about, but I don't think they're going to do a lot of damage against Eovaldi.
Yeah, no, I don't think so either. And look, the strikeout props for Eovaldi has been hit or miss. There's a few times. There's only 2 times that he's hit the over on this number. I would lean the over on this one, but I'm concerned a little bit about it. The Rangers, their strikeout rate is the highest in the majors against the right-handed pitching. So obviously it's not been great. But there's a little bit of concern here with me that he might not be able to hit it. So I'm likely going to stay away from it.
Right.
But it's not that I don't know. Everything seems way too juicy for me to just say no to that. Right. Like everything just seems like it's kind of perfectly in place, except for the fact that like Nathan Eovaldi, and this stuff's been great too. Don't get me wrong. Like he's actually been awesome. And I've loved this stuff, but it's just that the strikeout numbers aren't necessarily there. So I would like it to be a little bit better. But obviously, at over 6.5 even money, I mean, you're not betting that just because of Eovaldi. You're betting that because Texas they strike out a crap ton.
They just don't hit. They just swing and miss and strike out. I mean, that's what the Rangers do.
All right, we're going to, and you know what? I would have to check the numbers again here. I'm not looking at strikeout props here. I don't think maybe for Bieber, but I don't think the White Sox here would be the best one. But always it's first 5 unders with Bieber. I mean, it hits with DeGrom, hits with Bieber.
Yes.
I would have to just make sure what Cleveland's been doing lately, just to make sure that their lineup still stinks. But that's probably where I'd go, and maybe money line with the Cleveland. But then I think I'm going too much into Bieber's just very good, and I'm not taking into account the fact that Cleveland isn't good, just Bieber is.
Right.
So
Cleveland's
that's part of it.
The White Sox are though.
the White Sox are, but they always have the problems with right-handed pitching, at least lately. I've kind of noticed that they've not been as strong against right-handed pitching, and it's been more of kind of.
And Bieber shut them down his first outing against Chicago.
Exactly. They've been doing better. I mean, you look at the numbers; they have been doing well against right-handed pitching. They're 6th in WOBA right now, around there in runs created plus as well. So, I mean, the hitting's there. I don't know. I haven't seen the results enough for me to do it. I think I'm just going to might just take the first 5 under here.
Yeah, that'd probably be a safe bet. I mean, the one thing to be questioning is, Bieber's coming off a 112 pitch outing last time. Like that's a lot of pitches. That's probably
and we just saw. I mean, the conserve, right? We just saw Corbin Burns go down with an injury too, and him and Bieber have been on the same track in terms of pitching and the amount of strikeouts and pitches they've had.
Burns is COVID related, not injury related.
I thought it was an arm injury. Never mind.
I mean, he might have one, but
because they didn't disclose it at first, and I feel like I just speculated.
I mean, he's on the IL for what they danced around as COVID-related issues.
That's right. Okay.
Yeah.
He didn't blow though. At least they got that right.
I mean, not I made it just.
This is why I'm not a journalist. I just speculated wildly on a dude that didn't have any injury tag going to the IL. And I just went, oh yeah, arm injury, sure.
Yeah, sure. No, not the case.
I am not going to be the next Tim Kirkjian. Let's just say that.
Right. No, I mean, I only paid attention to that because I was at work yesterday and we cut the press conference with the GM of the
because the last thing I remember I saw was no injury tag. That's kind of weird. Probably COVID. And my mind still went, no, maybe arm injury. I'm not sure.
Right. But I mean, hey, he was scheduled to face the Dodgers on Sunday, but that's not going to happen. But yeah, I mean, what I was saying is like, Bieber had a high pitch count last outing. he didn't have his 10. This is the first time against the Yankees, his last outing, he didn't have 10 strikeouts in a game.
Yeah.
Is that something to be concerned about? I don't know. I don't think so. I would highly doubt it, but it might play into the length he has today against the White Sox. Maybe they don't push him as hard as they have, in other outings. That's something that might be a consideration. I don't know what. I get the feeling Cleveland would pitch him until his arm falls off. So
I know, yeah, he's pitched his last 4 games have all been over 100 pitches, which is just incredible.
I feel like it doesn't matter what he did last outing.
Yeah.
But it's something to be considerate of. He did own the White Sox last time they played. So last time he pitched against the White Sox, he shut them down. The White Sox.
It's the only time that he's actually, really shut. Look, it's 8 innings, 3 runs, and 7 innings, 2 runs, stuff like that. But the first real dominant shutdown outing he had, and really only one, has been the White Sox this season. Yeah. So I don't know if that'll play 100%, but I expect him to be, his usual dominant self. He might give up a couple runs here and there, and then it's just whether or not Cleveland can do anything offensively to give him some backup. But he should pitch his usual game. Keuchel should pitch very well as well. Like we said, the Indians lineup isn't much to consider, except for maybe a few spot players. Franmil Reyes maybe gets a hold of one. Those types of things. But I think both pitchers should go long, should have good outings, should be a really low-scoring, pitch-heavy game. Yeah, I really do. I would probably lean that first 5 under. Mm-hmm. I don't know if I should be, and I probably won't be concerned too much at all about Shane Bieber.
No, I wouldn't.
But yeah, I would probably lean that first 5 under.
Yes.
For that one. We have Brady Singer on the mound here, which I might think about that. John Means on the mound against Oakland. I might think about that one. Okay. John Gray against Arizona. I might think about that one.
Bumgarner coming off of his quote-unquote no-hitter, not no-hitter.
Yeah, and the fact that he just sucks still, and I really am not going to take that into account.
Right.
And John Gray's been pitching pretty well.
Yeah, John Gray's been pitching very well.
Yeah, he's been great. That Baltimore game too with John Means.
Yeah,
the dude's 2-0.
Right. No, this is a good matchup for the Orioles in this
right,
lineup.
and I said 2-0, not like and I can already hear, why are you talking about wins and losses with pitchers? I'm not, but I'm just saying, at least if Baltimore's been winning games with John Means on the mound, that doesn't really happen too much with any pitcher. So
right.
Damn, I'm gonna at least take that into account. Congratulations, you've been winning with Baltimore. Well done, man.
Yes.
You gotta be look, Jacob deGrom can't even win with the Mets. Damn, good for you, John Means. So yeah, this one here gets a little Chris Flexen. I already seem like I'm gonna bet against that guy. I don't know why, but I feel like I'm gonna bet against him.
Look, this is his first start against Los Angeles, so question mark of what he's going to do. But his best career start was his last career start against Boston. He went 7 strong, had 7 strikeouts, 1 earned run against a Red Sox lineup, which is pretty good. So, it's not like he's completely awful. He's just young. He can get good outings. Can he work his magic against the Angels lineup? The Angels lineup has always been hit and miss. Some days they're all 3 for 4, and then other days they're all 1 for 4, 0 for 4. It just, every time I look at the Angels and get excited about their lineup, it's he's coming off an 0 for 4 day. He's coming off an 0 for 5 day. They're doing this. They're doing that. Nobody seems to be on the same page. Can you get runs in off of Flexen? Absolutely. If the Angels can get bat to ball, they should be okay.
Yeah.
It's just how many times have I seen I jump on Ohtani's bandwagon, then he goes 0 for 4. With 3 really bad strikeouts or whatever. It's just not consistently there for the Angels lineup, but when it's there, it's really there. They have good bats, good pop. They can manufacture runs. They don't give up on a game. They play all 9 innings or 8.5 innings, whatever it is. So even if they get off to a slow start against Flexen, I don't count the Angels out in the complete game. But it's just a question mark of what Flexen's going to do, because he's still young. He's still early in his starts. The other question is Seattle's, pitching is kind of beaten up right now. Like Marco Gonzalez just went on the 10-day IL. Are they going to leave Flexen in longer than he needs to be in?
Right.
Are they going to try to get some?
And even if they don't, I mean, going straight to that bullpen,
right.
I mean, obviously I would feel great about that too. So,
right. So, I think Seattle's going to hit a spot where they're like, do we stretch Flexen out a little longer and see what happens? Or do we just go to the bullpen and assume, what's going to happen? But the other thing I look at in this game is that Heaney's on the mound, and this matchup between Heaney and the Mariners lineup just seems like everything works in Heaney's favor.
Mm-hmm.
He's been pitching very well over his last 3 starts. He has an ERA of like 1.5 in his last 3 starts. And those are against teams like the Astros, the Twins, and the Blue Jays. So those are really good opponents that Heaney has pitched very well against. The Mariners are kind of in a little slump here. They haven't really hit a lot. Like yesterday, it was basically Taylor Trammell. Like everybody else just kind of no-showed. So is that going to happen again? I don't know. I mean, they're at home, so maybe not. But Heaney has pitched lights out the past 3. Really, the only start he had that was bad was his first start of the year against the White Sox. That was it. Everything else has been, lights out for Heaney. Like, he's been fantastic on the mound. And I don't see anything in the Seattle lineup that jumps out at me and says, oh, Heaney's going to have problems with this guy, or with these guys, or anything that seems to trend a lot of hits for the Mariners. So I expect Heaney to have a very solid outing. He should be able to do his routine 6-7 innings and be, in line with his last 3 starts. I don't expect him to be blown up. I don't think he's going to be making a ton of bad pitches or a bunch of mistakes out there. So I like this matchup for Heaney. I like this matchup for the Angels in general. We'll just see how it plays out.
Yeah, we will. It'll be really interesting. And you know what? Hell, it's time, right? Like the Reds are back home. Not it's time for the Reds to hit. It's time for Jake Arrieta to suck again.
Yes.
That's what it's time for. It's long overdue.
Yeah,
it is really long overdue. And this is the perfect matchup for it. Right-handed pitcher in Cincinnati, with Cincinnati hitting as well at home as they're just a fantastic home hitting team, and they're back at home. And they were hitting well against the Dodgers for the most part that series.
But they were.
Man, I'm expecting them to just beat the brakes off of Jake Arrieta. I want him to be out. I want them to crush his soul and him to be out in like the 2nd or 3rd inning.
Mm-hmm.
Can that happen? Can I get my wish come true?
That could definitely happen, but the weird thing is that Jake Arrieta in a Cubs uniform just seems to be
Stop it. No, I'm not doing this, because I've seen Jake Arrieta in a Phillies uniform and it sucked. And it was the poops. It was terrible. So you know what? Cincinnati, a 3rd and Woba against right-handed pitching. Obviously, they're unbelievable at home.
Yeah. So, I love the Reds in this matchup, though. I mean,
let's go with it. Don't you try and keep me away from this one, Brian. All right.
All joking aside about Arrieta and the Cubs. No, I mean this lines up for the Reds. They like we've stated in previous episodes. They hit at home. They destroy pitching at home.
Yeah.
They have a lot of hitting up and down the lineup. Jesse Winker is like one of the best hitters in the league right now. I would be surprised if the Cubs can shut down the Reds at home.
If they out hit the Reds in this game, in any capacity.
Right. This should be all Reds offense against.
By the way, hello, Brian McClure, not Brian Slone. Hey, Brian, how you doing? Never caught a baseball live stream. Here you go. Here we are doing a baseball live stream. Welcome. Hopefully we massively did not disappoint you. I mean, probably a little disappointment, but not huge disappointment. So here are our bets. And you know what? I like the strikeout prop for Garrett Cole. I think that's one I really love. Nathan Eovaldi, I'm still on the fence. You'll find out windailysports.com sports betting page, whether or not I do put that up. I looked into it. I do like the Royals today.
Yes.
Plus 115. Twins are bad. And I think it's still hard for us to just say, Twins are just bad. But hell, plus 115, you have a semi-decent, actually kind of good pitcher on the mound today for the Royals. The Royals have been winning. Why not take my shot at plus 115, get it at plus money? And, Michael Pineda's been good this season. I'll give him credit, man. That guy's been good. Yeah. I don't know how long that's going to continue, though. And he kind of got roughed up a little bit in his last start against the Pirates. So I think I'll take the Royals here. The over 4.5 for the Angels. I think both of us really love that. And then a late ad here in Cincinnati. I think we both absolutely love that one. That one seems pretty good, doesn't it?
Yeah. I mean, look, unless the Reds are facing a DeGrom or whatever, Reds at home are probably going to be a pick I gravitate towards, for 80 plus games.
You know what would really be the cherry on top here, because they're going up against Wade Miley. Let me just the Cubs stink in general with their lineup. They haven't hit it all late, especially lately. They haven't hit anything. Right. I just want to make sure. I think the Cubs are actually like semi-good against lefties. They are. So that kind of concerns me. But again, are they going to out-hit the Reds at home? And already a lineup that's just much better than them. Right. But a lineup in which I think they will be able to hit Jake Arrieta. I think they do. Yep. And they're at home. I think it's a better spot here that they.
Yeah, everything on paper lines up for the Reds.
Absolutely. Everything also lines up on paper for us to go. And that's it. Enjoy your weekend. Hopefully the bets are good for you. Hopefully the baseball's great. Hopefully your NFL teams don't disappoint you. Mine actually didn't last night. I thought it could have been a better pick. Mine didn't disappoint me. Mine actually, for the first time, kind of did the right thing. But I think there was another right thing they could have done. But that's a different story. Listen to my radio show, your Daily Ticket 3 to 6 on The Gambler in Philadelphia. WindailySports.com, though. Better Baseball Podcast. That is Brian. Follow him at OneFanPowerTrip. You can follow me at JJansen34. We'll be back next week for the Better Baseball Podcast.